most need of help, especially people who are sick and those who care for them. And we know that working together as a team, so much more can be achieved than working in isolation. And I hope that tonight your support means that you are one member, each of you, a member of the team that is the Sick Children's Trust. And together you are helping the work of this charity to achieve great things. So thank you all for that. So as we continue our preparations for celebrating Christmas, the birth of the great little one who made his home among us, let us now go in word and song, even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing that is come to pass.
Good evening, everyone. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm-lit windows below in the town. It was 15:15 dawn. All the Whos still abed. All the Whos still a snooze when he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Whos, he was grinchiously humming, classically trained, thank you. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Whos down in Whoville will all cry a boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounded quite merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came somehow or other. It came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? That arranged there. It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for his feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the dawn of our dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. Thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Turning to another day shall he break, for the slave is our bride. Hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise, and all within us praise His holy name. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yonder tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
A Christmas Poem by Harrison Yocum. I have a list of folk I know, all written in a book. And every year when Christmas comes, I go and take a look. And that is when I realize that these names are a part, not of the book they're written in, but really of my heart. For each name stands for someone who has crossed my path sometime, and in the meeting they've become the rhythm in each rhyme. And while it sounds fantastic for me to make, I feel that I'm composed of each remembered name. And while you may not be aware of my special kink, just meeting you has changed my life a lot more than you think. For once I've met somebody, years cannot erase the memory of a pleasant word or a friendly face. So never think my Christmas cards are just a mere routine of name upon a Christmas list forgotten in between. For when I send a Christmas card that is addressed to you, it is because you're on the list that I'm indebted to. For I am but a total of the many folk I've met, and you happen to be one of those I prefer not to forget. And whether I've known you for many years or few, in some ways, you have a part in shaping things I do. And every year when Christmas comes, I realize anew the best gifts life can offer is meeting folk like you. And may the spirit of Christmas that forever endures leave its richest blessings in the heart of you and yours.
trees have snow and mistletoe and presents by the tree. Christmas Eve will find you with a love like this. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Christmas Eve will find me with a love like this. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. If only in my angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee Jesus Christ, our newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
That was truly beautiful. I'll be reading a verse from Matthew 2, 1 through 11. The wise men are led by the star to Bethlehem. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born, King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor, that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go, and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they came into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
You will find the words of our next carol on page 16, and we stand and sing Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen. King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel. Brave inside, gathering crystal fuel. With a page and stand by me, if you know it's telling yonder present, who is he, where and what his dwelling. Such lives a goodly hence, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes fountain. Pine, bring me pine logs hither, you and I will see him dine, when we bear them thither. Page and man at foot they went, through they went together. Through lament and the bitter weather. While the night is darker now, and the wind blows stronger, fills my heart I know not out. Mark my footsteps, my good page, tread now in them boldly. You shall find the winter's rage, freeze your bloodless foes. In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted. Each was in the very sod. Therefore, Christian, and be sure, while God's gifts possessing, you who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing.
The Magic of Giving, from A Boy Called Christmas. This is the story of how Father Christmas came to be. The story of a little boy called Nicholas, who goes on a long and hard journey and ends up living with the elves in a community called Elfhelm, way up north in the Arctic Circle. This passage recounts how Nicholas, now known as Father Christmas, first had the idea of visiting every child on Christmas Eve to deliver a present. There was no better feeling than flying through the sky on the back of a reindeer. Even after a lifetime of doing so, Nicholas, who was now so comfortable with the name Father Christmas, he called himself Father Christmas, loved the magical feeling of zooming through the sky. As he flew back north under the moonless sky, he realized that although he might not have been able to live with the humans again, the question still bothered him. How could he make their lives better, happier? The following day, he asked that very same question in a meeting of the Elf Council. "We need to find a way to spread as much happiness as possible," he announced. "But everyone is happy," said one of the elves. "Everyone here is still happy," corrected Father Christmas, "but I want to spread that happiness beyond the mountain." "Beyond the mountain?" asked Father Topo. "But it's too dangerous. Everything is perfect here. If we let all the humans know we are here, it would be chaos. No offense, Father Christmas." Father Christmas nodded thoughtfully and scratched his beard. "I agree, Father Topo, but what if we did something that gave just a little bit of magic? Something that could brighten their lives?" "But what?" asked Father Boddle, who was opening a birthday present. "A cuddly toy reindeer!" he squealed with joy. "Oh, it looks just like Blitzen. Thank you, Father Christmas." "A pleasure," said Father Christmas. And Father Christmas watched that joy on Father Boddle's face and thought about the magic of giving. He thought of the day he had been given the sleigh and the time a few years later when he had been given the turnip doll. Even though a sleigh is significantly better than a turnip, the feeling of receiving both had been the same. The truth pixie had been right. Giving was what he was good at. And then that night, at around midnight, it came to him. It was the biggest and craziest idea he had ever had in his life. The idea would involve a lot of things. First of all, a lot of hard work. But elves loved work, if it was fun, so he would make sure it was fun. It had to be fun, because if they weren't having fun, then it would go badly wrong. He would convert the tower from merely being a toy workshop to being the greatest toy workshop imaginable. The plan would also involve reindeer. Yes, all of the reindeer would be needed. He would need Blitzen to lead the way, because no one was as good in the air as Blitzen. He was not only strong and quick, but he also had determination. He would never leave a journey half finished, just as Nicholas would never leave a mountain half climbed. As well as Blitzen, he would need Donna at the front to help with navigation, or maybe that new reindeer he had found wandering the wooded hills, the one with the strange red nose. And they'd need a good sleigh. They'd need the best sleigh there had ever been, in fact. He'd need to recruit the best sleigh makers. He would need it to be strong and streamlined and silent through the air. And it was going to happen at Christmas. And the moment he knew it, he felt a warm glow. It started in his tummy and spread through his whole body. It was the feeling that comes when you find out who you really are and who you know you will be. He picked up his father's old red hat. He put it on his head. Then he heard the distant sound of voices coming from the village hall. Of course, it was Monday, dance night. He opened his window wide and saw hundreds of happy elves walking back to their homes. He felt such a joyous spirit inside himself. He leant out of the window and shouted as loud as he could, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And everyone looked up at him and without question said, "Merry Christmas." And everyone, including Father Christmas, laughed. Ho, ho, ho. And so it was that he closed the window and finished his chocolate and went to bed. He closed his eyes and smiled with such joy, thinking of all the magic and wonder he would share next Christmas.
Our next carol is an old favourite, the Calypso Carol, on page 17. A drafty stable, Mary cradling of the baby she bore, the Prince of Glory is his name. Oh, carry me to Bethlehem, to see the Lord of love again, just as poor was the stable then, the Prince of Glory when he came. Star of silver sweep across the skies, show where Jesus in the manger lies. Shepherds swiftly from your steep arise, to see the Saviour of the world. Oh, now carry me to Bethlehem, to see the Lord. Just as poor as he is stable then, the Prince of Glory when he came. Angels, sing again the song you sang. Sing the glory of God's gracious plan. Sing that Bethlehem's little baby can be the Saviour to us all. Oh, now carry me to Bethlehem, to see the Lord. Just as poor as was the stable then, the Prince of Glory when he came. Mine are riches from your poverty, from your innocence eternity. Mine forgiveness by your death for me, child of sorrow for my joy. Oh, now carry me to Bethlehem, to see the Lord of love again, just as poor as was the stable then, the Prince of Glory when he came.
This is my Christmas wish for you,
by Ruth Kephart. My Christmas wish for you, my friend, is not a simple one. For I wish you hope and joy and peace, days filled with warmth and sun. I wish you love and friendship too throughout the coming year, lots of laughter and happiness to fill your world with cheer. May you count your blessings one by one, and when totaled by the lot, may you find all you've been given to be more what you sought. May your journeys be short, your burdens light. May your spirit never grow old. May all your clouds have silver linings and your rainbows pots of gold. I wish this all and so much more. May all your dreams come true. May you have a Merry Christmas, friend, and a Happy New Year too.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, my name is Karina Moore, and I am the composer of It's Christmas Time All Over the World. I'm delighted to be here this evening to introduce you to the fantastic Toffee Bear Choir. They're going to perform 2 songs for you tonight. So the first one will be my carol, It's Christmas Time All Over the World, and then they will follow that with Christmas Wish. Leading the choir tonight will be Katie Gale, and then accompanying them on the piano will be Sophie Pryor. Thank you very much.
I'm not really dreaming all the magic Christmas. I'm not really counting every star I see. Waiting for sleigh rides and carols, or dancing in the snow. Singing or laughing, or gift tied up with bows. really dreaming. Can you feel it? There's magic all around. Can you hear it? It's such a beautiful sound. If you believe it, hope will always be found.
I thought my main concern was going to be the celebrities, but how do you follow that? Good evening, everyone. What an immense privilege it is to be standing here today to share my family's story with you. I used to be a bit of a Christmas grump. It's too early for decorations. Here come the adverts. It's not even November yet. The John Lewis ads rubbish this year, that sort of stuff. But I find myself recently, as I'm getting a bit older, wanting to give thanks to things that matter to me. And today is no exception. I'm a father of two delightful, most of the time, children. The youngest child, Dexter, is now 4 years old. And as he will tell you, very nearly 5, so he's pretty much an adult. But like most people who realize the need to give thanks and appreciate what you have, it took a terrible experience for me to be aware of how lucky I actually am. And before I start, this has been an amazing event, and I don't want to pour water on the fire, so to speak. So I want to emphasize Dexter is very much alive and looking forward to a heavily monster truck focused Christmas. However, last year in April, just before his 3rd birthday, Dexter had an accident. It began a very pleasant Friday evening. I was working in the garden and the children were playing on a climbing frame we have. My wife Rachel called out to say our takeaway had arrived. I was very excited. I watched the children walk back to the house and I set out to retrieve my phone where I'd left in the garden and the shed before returning to the house. When I arrived at the back door, only my daughter greeted me. I asked where Dexter was and she didn't know. And that's not unusual. I'm sure anyone with young children knows how elusive they can be. But I don't know, somehow within a few minutes, I kind of knew something was really wrong. I asked my wife, she said she didn't know where he was, and we checked the house quickly, and I just felt a need to run into the back garden. And then I saw him. Only the blue part of his Paw Patrol shoes sticking out of, well, he was completely submerged and they were sticking out of the pond in our back garden. I don't remember saying anything. My wife says I screamed in an unholy manner. I desperately pulled him out of the freezing water. He was cold and unresponsive, and my heart broke. Airways, trying to do CPR, which we don't know exactly how long he was in the pond, but he was freezing cold and his eyes were completely lifeless. After what seemed like an age of doing CPR, we managed to get him to start breathing again. And after a few minutes, the house was engulfed by police, paramedics, and the air ambulance team. We were blue lighted to Broomfield Hospital, where the crash team continued to work to save his life into the evening and the rest of the night. Later, we were transferred to Addenbrooke's PICU, the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, where Dexter was put into an induced coma to save his brain and nerve function. While all this was going on, my wife and I had to give statements to the police. We had to recall specific detail, all the while asking ourselves how this could possibly have happened. And inevitably, we began blaming ourselves for everything that had happened too. That first night, I refused to leave his side. Sat upright in a chair, desperate to see a sign that Dexter was still there. You're petrified, you're exhausted, you're fearing the worst. It's agony. Early in the morning, I received an update from the doctor. He'd been diligently working on Dexter pretty much all night. Dexter was stable, but there was no guarantee he would wake up. And if he did, there likely would be lasting damage from his ordeal. He wanted us to rest, to gather strength, and to be ready to make decisions should they come along with a clear head. And that's when he told us about Acorn House. Acorn House, provided by the Sick Children's Trust, supports families of sick children like Dexter being treated at Addenbrooke's Hospital by giving them somewhere to stay just minutes from the hospital bedside. There was a clean bedroom, a kitchen, a communal area for our family to meet, to drop off supplies to us, and to help provide us counsel. Everything we desperately needed at that very moment. Dexter was in a coma for 72 hours. And then after an agonizing wait, when the drugs were removed, he started to respond. Just some murmurs at first, but then slight movement, fingers, a little wave. I think I remember a fart as well. And then a grin. Hour by hour, he returned until he was taken out of PICU and began his recovery. When we return in shifts to Acorn House, we would have a meal, FaceTime our daughter, and see our family members. Everyone there did such an amazing job. All the care workers, the nurses, the doctors, the air ambulance, and the police. But the ability to stay in close proximity to our infant son was paramount throughout the experience. I was talking to Richard, who was organising the event, and asked me to speak today. And he asked me to sum up the impact Acorn House had in those situations. I thought about it for a long while. And then I realised it simply allowed my wife and I to focus on being parents and being there for our son. I would never have considered needing something like that prior to it happening to support my family. Thankfully, not many people in here will have to contemplate it, but it's why days like this are so important, to raise awareness of the importance of Acorn House to those in need at their agonizing moment, and likely the most difficult period of their lives. So I'll end by asking you to dig deep to support the Sick Children's Trust. If you're in work, maybe not like those little blighters up here before, you can lean on the support of your corporate network to help support the Children's Trust and to run events to raise awareness. The Sick Children's Trust is an invaluable charity and one for which my family and countless others are most grateful for. Thank you and have a Merry Christmas.
It's cold outside, since we no place to go. Maybe it's cold outside. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. On the first day of Christmas, what you look at to be. We have heard of life, singing sweetly o'er the plains. Have the angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Santa Claus is coming to town. Christmas time is here. For every year this Christmas tree brings to us a joy and glee. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas and bright. And may all your Christmases be white. Happy holidays.
Pie.
Thank you all so much for coming this evening to our Together at Christmas service. I know for many of you it's the start of Christmas, and I hope you enjoyed all this evening's performances. It's wonderful to see so many of you here and so many familiar faces. Your support means so much to so many families like Ian's. With your support, families, these children with a seriously ill child in hospital will be able to stay in one of our 10 homes from home across the UK to support their child to be with each other at the most terrible time. I've got some thank yous to our sponsors, Balderton, for your generous support, to Reverend Stephen Evans and the wonderful team here at St Marylebone Parish Church, our performers, to Christina Johnston, the London Show Choir, the adorable Toffee Bear Choir, everyone's favourite from Mill Hill Pre-Preparatory School, to our readers, Tim Downey, Amelia Fox, Jenny Faulkner, Alice Beer, and James Wise from Balderton. Thank you all for making this evening so special. And a very special thank you to Ian Bridges for sharing your family story. It means so much, and we're just so pleased that Dexter is doing so well. We've got one more hymn this evening, and then please join us for a glass of wine and a mince pie at the end of this evening. If you'd like to leave a donation, please do, because every penny makes a difference. And there's donation envelopes in the pews in front of you, and you can leave them with a member of staff, or you can make a donation via card. The team have card machines. We've got a raffle this year, which is a new thing. So I'm just going to ask Vanessa and Christina to come and draw the raffle, please. White ticket 211 to 215. Thank you. All that's left for me to do is to wish you and all your families a very happy Christmas.
We have just about come to the end of our time together, but just a word about when you collect your wine and your mince pies. When you've got a glass of wine and a mince pie, can you move away from the table to another part of the church so that other people can get mince pies and glasses of wine as well? There's lots of space, and we hope that you will have a very happy Christmas when the time comes. We're now going to stand and sing our last carol, which is on page 17. O come, all ye faithful. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye, to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of sinners.
Right, through, ready, go.